Thank you very much indeed for wanting to watch this YouTube analytics course, and the reason I say thank you very much is quite genuine, because I do spend rather a lot of time teaching people how to use YouTube in an effective and profitable way. When I get to the bit about YouTube analytics, people's eyes glaze over. They go, oh, I don't want to do this, and they don't really want to learn it, and you do, and it used to annoy me, I'll be quite honest about it. I suddenly realised then that in any business, analysis, I knew I was going to have trouble with that word, analysis is always a problem, but it's an essential problem. You must look at where your sales are coming from, who's buying your stuff, what sells and what doesn't, and it's no different from running a high street shop and seeing what sells, what people are asking for and so on, than analysing your YouTube stats. And as I used to get annoyed, then I realised the people who don't bother to look at the analysis, who don't bother to analyse the figures, they tend to be less successful, and that leaves more money for the rest of us. So that's the reason I say thank you. Genuinely, people do miss out. Now, this rather large screen showing you here, this is one of my YouTube accounts. We're showing a month here. We've got some details in my videos and so on. And this is the basic screen where we start off when we're in analytics, coming to overview over here on the left. My mug there staring at you. You can break down for individual videos, we'll come to that. You can search for locations, you can change dates, and there's all sorts of reports here. You've got this week, and this week is from the Sunday just gone to today, but remember that today doesn't count because the last day or two won't always show. So it's sort of Sunday to when they last updated the stats, which can be a day or two behind. Last week is the last calendar week, that is to say from a week last Sunday to a week last Saturday. The last 7 days, probably self-explanatory. Then you can look at this month, last month, the last 30 days, the current quarter, the last 90 days, and so on. And at the bottom you've got a customized range, which you just pop in here. You can choose whichever dates that you want. So that's how we've come out with this. So here we are, we've got a full month here, and you can see here, first thing you can see is that I had 870,226 views in that month, followed by a dreaded red triangle. Now, you don't want a red triangle, do you? No, you don't, because if you look by going over that, you can see that big message box that pops up down here, and you can see during that period, although I had 870,000 views, that was actually 3.37% drop in number of views on the previous month, and that's pretty bad. I want my views to increase, don't I? Well, the reason I've shown you this month is because I put into effect in this period from the end of November all the things that I'm showing you in this course and the other parts of the training that I do here. And I want you to see that actually, although I dropped 3% of views, I got rid of some people I didn't want. You can see here I had 3.8 million minutes watched, which incidentally is 7 years, 135 days. Thank you, YouTube. That's one bit of analysis that actually it quite pleases me. It's not really boring. I was going to say it was boring, but it's quite fun. But you can see that that was actually 13.78% extra minutes watched compared with the previous month. Now remember that the amount of people who watched my videos dropped by 3.5% roughly, but the number of minutes went up by nearly 14%. So don't just look at your performance in terms of views in isolation, which is the mistake that most people do. Oh, my views are down, what am I going to do? Actually, there's a lot more things affect how much you earn, how successful you are, than views. Because you can have 1 million views, they might only watch the first 10 seconds of your video and go, ugh, don't like this, turned off, still registered as a view. They've gone back, watched somebody else, and look at me, I've got 1 million views. Not a lot of good if they're only watching 10 minutes, not only because they're not going to actually make you any money, they're not going to look at your product or whatever, but YouTube's going to say, hey, hang on, this video's not very good, we've got a lot of data here, 1 million people have watched it, and they've only watched it for 10 seconds, obviously not very good, and they're not going to promote it, and that's part of the reason for looking at all this analysis. And so we've got a green triangle, hooray, 3.8 million minutes, 7 years. But look at this, there's the earnings for the same period, and you can see that has doubled, it's up 100%. So even though, I'm going to labour the point, views are down, 3.5% nearly, the actual number of minutes, so the total period the videos have been watched has gone up by 13%, we've had a 100%, a doubling of the actual amount earned. So again, don't look in isolation just at minutes, at views, sorry. You need to look at minutes and look at how much you've earned. You also then need to start to look down to a breakdown of how that comes. And we've got lots of greens here, we like this. So the number of people who liked my videos is up 52%. I've done some work there, which I'll reveal to you, that how people like it. My dislikes are also up. Now, I normally think if people don't like your video, that's really bad. I have to say, on this particular channel, lots of the videos are a little bit tongue-in-cheek and satirical, and lots of people think they're genuine. And as a result, they click dislike. The interesting thing is, of course, that Google sees that people are actually taking action on the video. Add those two together, you've got over 2,000 engagements. People have engaged with the video. It's a strange word, I know. But 2,000 people actually watched it and liked it strong enough to press thumbs up, or disliked enough to press thumbs down. And 3,000 people, even more than that, have actually made comments. And you can see there, because I've just clicked the screen, let me just go back one, that of those comments, that's up 66% as well. So I'm engaging with people more, 50% more. I've got more dislikes, nearly 60% more dislikes. 3,000 people have bothered to comment. That's a series of strong messages to Google. Hey, what's happening with this particular guy's channel? His minutes are down. Sorry, his minutes are fantastically up. The views are down. His earnings are up. That's because lots of people have engaged with the video. So I've got a 50% increase in likes, a 60% increase in dislikes, 66% increase in actual people actually taking the time to comment and involve themselves to engage. 425 people have shared the video. This isn't a massive figure, I have to say. It's something I'm really working hard on to try and get people to share it more. I've spoken actually with YouTube about that, and it's one of the things that they need to sort out. In theory, it's very easy to press a button and share to Facebook, Twitter and whatever. In practice, they obviously want you to share to Google +1, and that came in about the time that this particular month's figures are showing, so hopefully that will improve, but I am on to them on that. How many people added it as a favourite video? Up 16%. Subscribers up 61%. That's 1,245 net subscribers gained during the month. So every month I get about 10% of people who subscribe, unsubscribe, desubscribe, whatever the correct word is. So the net subscribers there is 61%. So that's a very quick overview of perhaps a half a page. I hope you've seen from that already that you can get an enormous amount of data that can really help you. More to the point, if you get this data right, it's going to help YouTube, and they're going to help push your videos so they appear on the right hand side. They're going to do marketing of your videos for you, they'll do advertising of your videos for you, you'll appear on home pages and selected pages and so on. You won't do that if you get 1 million views with 10 seconds, but even if your views are down, your minutes watched are up, your likes are up, your dislikes are up, your comments are up, your shares are up, your favourites are up, your subscribers are up, and your earnings are up as well, which is my favourite bit. So just from that small part of the screen, enormous part of detail, and you can see we're still in the overview. Let's scroll down a wee bit, shall we? Now then, this is just the top 10 videos on my channel, and the same on yours. We can browse all the content, won't do that for the moment, but you can do that, and we can see here a shortened version of the title. So this particular film, this is sorted by the number of views, 172,209 views in the month, and that was watched for about 1.6 million minutes, which is quite scary, because if I put my mouse over it like that, you can see that's 3 years and 13 days that effectively that was watched for in 1 month, which is a little bit scary. Earnings at the end there. Earnings are always, they always show as estimated. I should perhaps have made that point. It's not shown there, sorry, but they do say that earnings can vary by a little bit, and sometimes you do get a gap in the earnings and so on. We'll come back to that a little bit later. So from this particular film, if I put the mouse over it, we can see there the actual title of the film. That's on my channel, the date it was created, the day it was first uploaded, how long the film is. A 43-minute film, so a very long film is that, and the privacy setting is public. We've set it so anybody can watch that, and we can see from the top 10 films there, we can see some of the figures and so on. Let's come down a bit, because I want to come back to that, but I want to show you this bit at the bottom first. Demographics. It's a weird word, is that? I've never really got my head around it properly. This is absolutely crucial that you understand this, because it's all very well getting, 870,000 views, but are they in the marketplace you want? So if you're selling widgets in Oregon, you want the views from United States or from Oregon. If you're doing like I do and relying on the income from advertising here, I want my viewers to be from places like United States, United Kingdom, Canada and Australia. Sadly, in this period, I've had a lot of views from Saudi Arabia, and there's very little advertising for Saudi Arabia, so despite all those views, that's actually cut my income down, because there's not so much advertising, therefore I don't get a share of that, therefore I don't make as much money. So my films are headed towards the United States, United Kingdom, Canada and Australia. During this particular month, I did put one particular video up which got quite a few visitors from Saudi Arabia, and I'm afraid it didn't make me as much money, but they're included in the figures above. Now, gender. You can see in this particular month 84% of my viewers were male, in blue, and 16% were female in, I don't think that's pink, that's actually orange, isn't it? I don't know, maybe it's my monitor. Pretty certain that's orange, but we'll pretend it's pink anyway. Now that's actually quite interesting. We show you, and I'm happy to talk on other videos about how your market is reached. So we've got the example in one of the videos of the lady who just does hairstyling. She gets $1 million a year from that, and obviously her market will be female. Very few males interested in ladies' hairdressing, certainly in terms of daughters and so on, and will be of a certain age. Well, we can tell from this that my gender is 84% male, 16% female, and the stuff that I do on this particular channel is male orientated. I can also tell in general from this, the YouTube watch page, which I go through, that's where most of my videos come from, most of my views come from, sorry. It's 4% of that's embedded on other sites and so on. We'll break this down, and we can also see where my traffic comes from. Now here's an amazing figure. This is for my videos for this month. 76% of my views came from being referred by YouTube. In other words, because I've got the other things right, YouTube is happy to recommend my film. That will appear on the right hand side of a view page, or when you get to the end of a movie, there's about 12 movies appear, and those are often mine. And if that's mine, then more people are likely to click on those. YouTube also send emails out on a regular basis with recommended films based on the films that you've watched. And again, you can see that 76% of my views have come that way. What I'm going to do, just to break that down a bit further, let's take the top film here. Just click on that, give that a few seconds for YouTube to do its magic. Now we're only looking here at this particular film. This box here tells me that. If I delete the cross there, or press the cross rather, that will show me everything. So I'm only showing this one film. Crucial you get that, because it does get confusing sometimes. Looking at the same period, I haven't changed anything there. I've purely selected this one film. It shows the thumbnail, shows the title, shows the view, shows the length, and so on. Let's have a look at it. We know the 172,000 views, that's up 76%. We know the minutes is up by 90%, and we know the earnings is up by 131%. You can tell that the stuff I've put into operation, which I'm showing you on this course, is obviously working. Likes are up, dislikes are up, comments are up, shares are up, favourites are up, subscribers are up. Let's have a look down in a little bit more detail there. I have trouble with that. Top geographies. Let's just click that. Wait for that to come up, and we get a marvellous little chart here. Let's just go back as a line chart, and you can see where the film's being watched, but you can see 34% of those people in the United States. That's good. And of that, those people in the United States, they accounted for 34% of the views and 40% of the watched minutes, which is obviously very crucial. And if we come down, we can see United Kingdom, Canada, Germany, Netherlands, Philippines, and so on. And start to come down here, we've got like a world tour here. 214 countries saw that during the course of the month. Now it's all very well and good, 3 years of that. Is that been worthwhile? Well, as we can see from the earnings and so on, yes, it certainly was.